Happy Father's Day.
Hi,
Happy
everybody.
Father. We just got home and we had a whirlwind of a week. Oh my, it was unbelievable. But we don't want to go to bed and turn in without telling you guys how much we love you and what we've learned this weekend. And my youngest son graduating. And what a joy that was. And today he's on his own, as he chose to be on his own. So I'm praying for him. I'm praying that he'll put Jesus first. That he'll make the right decisions. The Hanover Hawks, Hawk is a soar. I'm praying that he soars high for Jesus. How's everybody doing today? My name's Tim. This is
Veronica.
And we are Crack Clay.
And Terry Tackett says hello.
Hello, Terry, brother Terry, my old buddy. Hope you're feeling great. My old buddy, haven't seen in how many years? Let's don't go there. But we love you, buddy, so much. Just a couple things. Just a couple things we learned. You know,
we had an amazing worship time today.
Who's the center of your universe? You know, there is nothing worse than divorce for kids. It's terrible. We're going through that. We've been through it. That's why we're helping people to live their marriage God's way. Only kids know, but even you're on divorce, only the kids know what the parents' marriage is really like.
What the kids
okay, the parents and parents. I faked it. I faked going to church and being a Christian for a long time. I knew every book of the Bible. I didn't know the God of the Bible. And I pretended. I went right along with everything, but I was lost. You can't fake it with your kids in marriage. They see right through it. They can see if you're sleeping with the enemy and you can't stand each other. And you wish that one person would die. They can see that. They can see that. And they know when mom and dad don't like each other. That also does that's not good for the kids, because you're doing it to the parents, but each other parents, but you also do that to the kids too, when you disown them or don't like them, or them out of the house, whatever the case may be. Yeah, the parents, but it's a roll off though. It's a run off of the kids. Yeah, and especially when you go to the kids and say how much you hate the spouse, how much that's happening. Affairs, emotional affairs, and sexual affairs is rampant.
And it all started.
It shouldn't be that way.
Those affairs didn't just happen because people were in happy marriages. That those people weren't in marriages that were being nurtured and lived God's way, and the marriages weren't being done God's way. You're not vulnerable to an affair if you're in that kind of marriage, the marriage that the Bible talks about, where you're putting Jesus
first.
Center.
Jesus has to be the center. Who's the center of your universe? Is it your kids? Is it your job? Is it your hobbies? I gotta watch myself with baseball, watching the Tribe, or I gotta watch myself.
Not you.
I do. Browns coming up. If your child's in the middle of your universe, if you're wrapped around the universe, well, what's
if your
everybody
child
else?
is the king of your home and not Jesus,
who's everybody else? You have a problem. You got to put Jesus in first. Jesus first. You know, in my job, someone can take over my job. Someone can have my job. They can't, but no one can have my relationship with Jesus, with my wife and my kids. Love your kids by loving your spouse, your wife, your husband. Okay, go ahead, baby. Sweetie.
What was I saying? And so when you are, what was I saying? When you're putting your...
How good I look or something like that.
How good you
look. Go ahead, baby.
He is so full of himself tonight.
Just kidding.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, when you are circling, when you have made your child the center of the universe, then that's when you guys stop, as a couple, you stop getting your needs met by each other. You start investing everything into your children. And it's not healthy for the children, and it's not healthy for you, because then the children grow up thinking that the world revolves around them, and it's all about them, and everything's all about them, and not about them serving others, because they've always been served, because you have revolved, you've helicoptered around them. And it also creates conflict between the parents, the mom and dad, because if you are all your focus is on that child, you're not taking time to nurture your marriages. Then if you're not nurturing your marriage, then you're going to become at odds with each other. And so we are both divorced, and we have children from our marriages. Right. And
kids that watch you.
And we work really hard to help our children through all of that. But the reality is, it's hard on the kids. It's hard on the kids. It's hard on us. Divorce is a horrible thing. It is a horrible. It is emotionally draining. So
talk to us first.
Don't
do it.
First, so the first thing you need to do is watch who you marry. Don't marry quickly out of lust. Don't make bad choices because you've got all the hormones and rage, and you're in the newness of the relationship, and you think you can't live without that person. Wait and see the relationship through and develop some maturity, and don't jump into bed with the person, because that's just going to confuse things more, and you think that you're more in lust with them.
Biblical.
And it's not biblical, and there's a reason why it's not biblical. Those principles God gave you because it's what's best for you, because he knew that sex is so much better when it's between a man and a wife, a husband and wife. It's much more treasured and precious when it's between you as a husband and wife. But so it starts with your dating. Date correctly. And then when you get married, nurture the marriage. It's hard when you have toddlers. It's hard when you have younger children. It's hard when you have to. It's hard when you don't have any children. But it's intentional. It takes intentionality. You have to be intentional about your spouse. You don't just, we've said so many times, and we're going to say it over and over and over. You don't just pursue them till you get married, and then you stop, and then you go on to your next pursuit. Right? We say that all the time. So you have to be intentional about your marriage.
And I think divorce is rampant. One reason because we get divorced. And number two, our kids see an example of us. You know, kids watch what we do, but they also watch what we don't do. That's huge. What don't we do? Do we go the way of the world, or do it God's way?
Yeah,
kids are watching it. Kids are watching that. Okay, be an example to our kids. We just had a wonderful week where I was King Manasseh. Manasseh for 55, 60 years lived for the devil. He would sacrifice his own children. He was evil. He was in chains and bondage. He gave his life to Jesus late in life. He's going to be in heaven. What a story. We're going to talk about more about that next week.
But interestingly, King Manasseh, his dad was a godly man, and he was Isaiah's grandson. And then his father, Hezekiah, he was a godly man. But Manasseh turned away from the Lord. And when he ruled for 55 years, every time we're washing clothes while we're doing this, it's been second place. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, when he was ruling in the beginning, many years were wasted because he went into the way of sorceries and false prophets, and he sacrificed his own sons, burned them he burnt his children as a sacrifice.
Was it Samuel or Eli that his kids, he didn't discipline his kids? Just let them run free. Train them up in the way of the Lord, and when they're old, they will not depart from me. Who is the center of your universe? Jesus, spouse, child. What's that verse he said? That verse was awesome. Awesome verse. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, but I got my.
But when you're one of the ways that you teach your children the right way is what you model in your marriage. And modeling.
Be a good model.
Modeling putting Christ first in your home.
Be a model. We love you guys.
So we had a great time worshiping in Richmond this morning. Awesome. We went to the Heights Church. It was an awesome time, y'all. We highly recommend you watch the videos if you don't go to church, if you don't live in Richmond. But if you live in Richmond, go to Heights.
Reach your spouse's need. Okay. And keep watching us.
Be intentional.
We'll show you how to do that.
All right, guys. Have a great
Love
week.
Your wife.
I'll try to remember to put makeup on next time.
Honey, you're still pretty. You're still beautiful, baby. I didn't put makeup on either. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Have a great week. Bye.